John McCain having an interview in Miami with a Spanish-speaking station, but they're conducting the interview in English. Asked about the Prime Minister of Spain, and he answers about Mexico. Mm-hmm. So the interviewer asks him again.
Mexico, former territory of Spain. Easy mistake to make if it's 1800.
He asks him again and again and again. And McCain continues to make the mistake. At one point, the interviewer has to say to him, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about Latin America. I'm talking about Europe. What do you think about Spain?
Yeah, the question is about would you meet with the Prime Minister of Spain?
Yeah, the person accidentally said president, but he meant prime minister. Let me actually, look, I'll give you the whole question and answers. It's not that long. Senator, finally, let's talk about Spain. If you're elected president, would you be willing to invite President Jose Luis Rodriguez Zapatero to the White House to meet with you? I would be willing to meet with those leaders who are our friends and want to work with us in cooperative fashion. And by the way, President Calderon of Mexico is fighting a very, very tough fight against drug cartels. I'm glad we're now working in cooperation with the Mexican government on the Merida plan. I intend to move forward with relations and invite as many of them as I can, those leaders, to the White House. Question, would that invitation extend to Zapatero government to the president itself? McCain, I don't know. You know, honestly, I have to look at relations, the situations, the priorities, but I can assure you I will establish closer relations with our friends, and I will stand up to those who do harm to the United States of America. What the hell harm would Spain be doing? And then it continues, question, so you have to wait and see if he's willing to meet with you, or you'll be able to do it in the White House? Well, again, all I can tell you is that I have a clear record of working with leaders in the hemisphere that are friends with us and standing up to those who are not, and that's judged on the basis of importance of our relationship with Latin America and the entire region. Question, okay, but what about Europe? I'm talking about the president of Spain. McCain, what about me, what? Question, okay, are you willing to meet with him if you are elected president? McCain, I'm willing to meet with any leader who's dedicated to the same principles and philosophy that we are for human rights, democracy, and freedom, and I will stand up to those that do not. But Spain is obviously a democracy. He has no idea who Prime Minister Zapatero is.
No, none idea. No idea at all. Also, we decide finally that this notion that Sarah Palin didn't get a passport until last year is, and this notion of whether she's qualified or not to be president. Of course she's not. It's a debate. It should end. It starts and ends in the first 5 seconds. And now I forgot what I was going to say. Another key, classy moment. Go down in Young Turks history.
All right. Look, here's the thing about McCain. You don't know it, right? And so you've made a terrible mistake here. You obviously don't know who Zapatero is.
Clearly.
Now, the man gave you a lifeline, man. He threw 3 times at you. Yeah. And he said, look, I'm talking about Spain.
Right, Spain.
I'm talking about Spain.
Spain, and he still didn't.
He still didn't get it. And what's amazing, Ben, is the interview is over, and everybody starts to buzz about it. They're like, holy cow, McCain doesn't know who's the leader of Spain, right? So his neocon advisor, Randy Scheunemann, comes out and says, oh, no, he knew who he was talking about. We don't want to meet with the Prime Minister of Spain. And everybody's like, what? Why don't you want to meet with the Prime Minister of Spain? They're like, well, he took troops out of Iraq at some point, and, until he does what we say, we're not going to. And then everybody's like, oh, my God, if you mean that, that's much worse.
It's much worse. Right.
So now, all of a sudden, all of our allies who disagreed with us at any point we won't even meet with?
Well, that was my key point that I really nailed and knocked out of the park there. As simple as it's obvious as the day is long that Sarah Palin isn't qualified to be president, why do we need to have a long debate about it? Why are we still debating the validity of meeting with people we disagree with? I mean, John McCain just said in his lame answer, not knowing what he was saying, I'm willing to meet with people who agree with us. Great. That'll be great. What will you meet about? You can settle that on the phone or with an email. So we're good to go on points 1 through 9, right, boys? Yeah! You go get them. Of course you meet with people you disagree with. Of course! I mean, you might not meet with a country you're actually at war with at any given point, although it would be nice because then maybe the war would end. But this notion that somehow we're not going to meet with people we disagree with, but maybe they'll agree with you if you meet with them. Maybe you'll be able to convince them, and it's such a preposterous argument to even have.
You see, there's a debate as to which McCain means here, whether he really didn't know who the leader of Spain
this
was.
is also obvious. He didn't know.
Or if he really doesn't want to meet with him, right? I'm with Ben. It's not really a debate. You look at that interview. Clearly, he had no frickin' idea, right? And the thing that I wanted to focus on is very similar to what Ben said. He doesn't know, right? And he doesn't want to commit a gaffe by agreeing to saying I will meet with a leader of a country I don't know.
Because maybe it's a terrorist state, you know.
Maybe it's a Latin American country we don't completely agree with, right? But outside of Venezuela and Hugo Chavez, and if he doesn't know who that is, we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and Cuba.
And Cuba, he should really be able to meet with any Latin American leader, you know. Mm-hmm. And for him to be like, I don't know if I'll meet with him. I don't know. He better be for freedom and democracy, otherwise I'll kick his ass. I mean, it's a really profoundly dumb answer. Forgetting the fact that he forgot who the leader of Spain is.
Yeah, it is a profoundly dumb answer, and it's not even a debate we should be having. And as dumb and as dangerous and as horrible and as un-American and unpatriotic as the neocons are, and as self-interested and not interested in America or what it stands for or the betterment of the lives of Americans, that's the neocon position. They don't like Americans or America, and they don't understand it. No matter how mad they are at Prime Minister Zapatero for withdrawing troops from Iraq, like in his first 9 minutes in office after he won the election, following the terrorist attacks in Spain, there's no way even the neocons would banish Spain from a meeting. They just wouldn't do it. I mean, they're not ready to ban NATO countries from meetings.
It's a NATO ally.
Yeah.
It's one of the
big ones. Yeah.
It's one of the top 10 economies in the world.
Yeah, they're not.
The Bush administration had to come out and release a statement today saying we have nothing against Spain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's comical. This whole thing's a joke.